We already did the pledge.
We did the
already
pledge.
did
You
everything.
can watch it on videotape or TV.
Okay, what do we do next? I don't have any papers.
Just say, I just need a few minutes. You're gonna look at it.
Yes.
You can't look at all of it.
Okay.
Go take a
Public comments on agenda items?
Anyone?
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 No. Okay.
Kathy's leaving.
Okay, report. I don't even know, I don't even have my,
These are my past notes. Just say I just need a
All right,
break to go to my office.
can you go get me,
An agenda.
no, the resolutions and everything?
Her whole packet.
My whole packet,
She left
please.
her packet in her office.
Okay, thank you. Over the past couple weeks, I've met with a few residents who were concerned about the filming and setup of our town board meetings. Unfortunately, our equipment is very old and outdated. We are working on updating our system. We will also be updating our website ASAP. I would like to thank the residents for their input, and if anyone else has any questions, concerns, or ideas, please feel free to contact any of the town board members. I spoke to Mark Coviello and Anthony Kavoris regarding the veterans in our community. They have a group called Hudson Valley Heroes Project. At some point, Anthony Kavoris will be attending one of our town board meetings to explain what the group is about and how they can help the community. With the help of Mark Coviello, we are hoping to make Unionville a Purple Heart community. Also, I have a tentative date for the Citizens Preparedness Training with the Dutchess County Emergency Response Team. Right now, we are considering Monday, March 14th at the Town Hall. And anyone interested should call the Town Hall and speak to Mary Lou to sign up to be a part of this training. More information is expected and a time and date will be posted at the town hall and on the cable channel as soon as everything is confirmed.
Do you know if it'll be daytime or evening?
It'll probably be evening around 6:30.
Okay.
And like I said, people have to sign up to come. And it's just, it's a lot of really good information.
Sure.
And I urge people to sign up and be there.
I don't see anything in there. Oh, this is the stuff that was in the plan. Those are the ones I made up.
Okay. Okay, any other reports from council members?
I would just like to say one thing. Last meeting we had on the 21st of January, you mentioned that there was a problem with the board members that are in the fire company regarding the transfer station and approving a discount for fire company members. You said that was something that should be addressed by the ethics committee, or it's an ethics violation, you said. I don't think it is, because of the three of us that are on the board that are also firemen, I always pay the regular resident price forever. You can ask our town clerk. The other two firemen don't use the recycling center, so I don't see any ethics issue on that. I think it was perfectly legit.
Okay, thanks
All right.
for clarifying that for us, John.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
There's a program coming up from Central Hudson for LED conversions, interior and exterior lighting in the building. I met with some consultants here this afternoon, and they did a survey of the building. The program that's coming up is that Central Hudson will pay 70% of the cost of the conversion, and then from that point on, the LED lights themselves will save close to 70% of the energy requirements for lighting. So that's something they'll be bringing back to you once they have all the numbers put back together.
Steve, is that just inside or outside as well?
It's inside, it's outside, and includes all the buildings that we own.
Oh, wonderful.
Did they look at the park at all? or-
Yes, and they're gonna meet again with Rob. We couldn't get access to the whole building, and they have Rob's card. I'm gonna contact him to do a walkthrough with some of the places we couldn't get to.
Okay, great.
I know I converted my lighting in the house to LEDs and tremendous savings.
At some point, you think they'll meet with the highway garage and?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, great.
We'll cover the whole town while it's available. The program isn't quite finalized yet, but they expect it to be within the next few weeks, and from that point on, we'll be one of the ones on the top of the list.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
This past Sunday, all of us, all the town board members were invited to a donor reception at the LaGrange Library that they have every year for the people that donate to the library. I was able to attend that reception. They were very pleased to hear us from Unionville. And we had some great conversations. The Mid-Hudson Library, had passed on the news that at our last board meeting, the contract was signed. Patty also, supervisor, also received a letter from the LaGrange Library in sort of celebration of reinstituting our relationship with them. We, the Mid-Hudson Library System, in preparation for receiving the check and going ahead to lift restrictions, has already put together a draft release. They're waiting to release until the check clears 3 days after they receive the check from us, which will be in the mail this evening. And residents can expect, hopefully in the next week and a half or so, to be able to get back into the library.
Okay, Dave, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna be going to a meeting on next Tuesday on procuring solar power for the municipalities. Then like Steve, I'll be going to the Association of Towns meetings down in New York. I've got a list of classes that I'll be taking. Anybody wants to see them, they're more than welcome to. I had a meeting with the constables, and we went over what's expected of them while they're out on patrol. They put forth some ideas that they'd like to see put into security measures here in the town, and I'll be talking to the town board about that. And I have a written report, I forgot to bring it with me tonight, from the constable in charge for the town board. But basically, it's been very quiet. There've been a few things. They put about 905 miles on the car this month. We have to do something about the maintenance of the car and set up schedules and decide where it's going to be maintained. The car is still under warranty, so it doesn't have to go to a Ford dealer, but we have to decide what station we'll be taking it to, so I suggest we put out some feelers as to who we're going to send it to.
Okay. And now we'll do the resolutions. Karina, do you want to read the first one?
Resolution 16-017, authorizing hours and salary for Planning and Zoning Board Secretary. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby authorizes the Town of Unionville Planning Secretary to work 3 hours per week at a rate of $16 per hour, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby authorizes the Town of Unionville Zoning Board of Appeals Secretary to work 2 hours per week at a rate of pay of $20.81 per hour, and be it further resolved that requests for additional hours shall be made in writing to the town supervisor with approval at the town supervisor's sole discretion.
I'll second it. We came up with these hourly rates and hours after discussing it with the chairperson and the planning board secretary, or the zoning board secretary, and the planning board secretary and the planning board chair. And we originally set it at $150 a meeting for the secretary, and they would rather have hours during the week and be paid their hourly salary.
Mhm.
So I agreed with that.
Okay.
If that's okay with everybody, so I'll second it.
Mhm.
Town board discussion?
If the pace of both boards changes, I mean, currently they're slow because of the economic conditions.
Right.
Are we prepared to increase the hourlies, the hours that, they would be
Yes.
available to
Yes.
work?
Absolutely. That's, part of it says that if they need more hours, they would come to me and say, I need more hours, and at my discretion, I could say, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? John, you want to read the next one?
Okay, I don't have a copy of the,
Okay,
Oh,
this was the
here.
one we were gonna table
right, I was
anyway.
gonna say, I don't have a copy, but, we had the interviews tonight for both planning board and zoning board of appeal members. With one exception, we're gonna table those appointments till our next meeting, which will be in 2 weeks on the 18th of February. However, I would like to nominate or confirm that I want to appoint Kevin Durlin, who we appointed last meeting as our chairman, officially say, appoint him to a 7-year term beginning in 2016.
I'll second that.
Town board discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And I'll move to table the resolution regarding the appointment of new members.
To the 18th, right?
Right.
Yes, yes. Second, all in favor, aye, yes.
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Dave, you wanna read this one?
Sure.
We don't have the list
Oh,
of
sure.
people.
I have the list.
Okay, actually, I'd like this to be tabled. The resolution appointing library steering committee members, I think it would be best if we got to interview these people and talk to these people ourselves before we select an entire committee.
I would second that, and I have additional comment on that as well. I'd like to have a clear objective of the steering committee in writing and approved by the board before we start appointing members to it. And I don't think we have that at this point.
Town board discussion? For tabling it?
My only
They already
reason
tabled it in second.
for wanting to table it is I know that there are other people that have asked to be on it. And I think if we put something up here at the town hall so that we can interview people as we did tonight and get an idea of what they want, because I don't want to see a steering committee that's completely lopsided.
Well, my opinion is, if it's a citizens library committee, I think anyone who wants to be on it should be on it and take part in it. I don't think there should be a limited number of people. I think every resident should have the opportunity to give their opinion and be on it.
Well, I will say that we did make a resolution at the last meeting that it's 8 to 12. So we kind of already decided at a board that it is limited. Not every resident can be on it.
Okay, but-
We say
But
it's
the
8 to
meetings
12.
can be opened up to the public.
Oh, the meetings can absolutely be opened up to the public. And it is, just to clarify, I spend a lot of time on the website, and, in the talk of what a town board does, is it absolutely says it can use citizens' committees, and it talks about that directly on our website. So I think if we are going forth as a town board and having people come forward, I did, when I sent you all the list, you all received the list by email, 2 weeks prior to this meeting. I did say, gave you all contact information, so I gave you their email or their phone number, and some of them both. So they certainly are all willing to talk to you. I know I have some here present tonight. So I don't think they have a problem with talking with people. It's not the same interview process as someone we're going to pay as an appointment or a job. I have no problem with putting a clear objective in writing. I have no problem with verbally giving you a clear objective. I think I've been very clear that the library steering team The purpose going forward is really a feasibility study. There's lots of different options. We don't have a physical building of a library, so we need to go about the different options of how to create a virtual library and how to represent that library well. Whether it's to go ahead with a 414, whether it's to go ahead just to set up a Friends of our virtual library that people donate to, or whether we actually petition the state for a library district, and that would have to be realigned with school districts, and the state would have to give their input in that. But that's going to take way more effort than a town board can put into it. This is only an advisory citizens council who will do the work, and then will bring forth all of those efforts put together for the different options to the town board, and then ultimately the town board gets to decide how we go forward.
Okay, so we're gonna table,
Yeah, there's a motion that's been seconded on the floor.
So you just need a vote to table it.
all in favor to table it?
Aye.
Opposed?
Me?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Karina Kelly as the town board liaison to the library committee.
I'll second that.
Town board discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, Steve, do you want to read this
I
one?
actually don't have copies
Oh,
of them
I'm
in front of me.
Oh, here, here's
There's
this
more
one
in the
too.
folder. There's whole sets in there.
Who seconded that motion?
Give him
Excuse me?
that.
Who seconded the motion? Patty did, made the motion, who seconded it?
Dave.
Dave.
Dave?
Yeah.
John, do you have one of these?
Okay, resolution 16-020, authorizing town equipment surplus and authorizing auction of surplus items. Whereas the town board of the town of Unionville desires to deem certain town equipment as surplus now, therefore it be resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville deems the following town equipment as surplus. 2004 Dodge Durango, and 4 Dell computer units. I'm not going to go into serial numbers here. But there's 4 excess Dell computers that we've been advised are obsolete. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the sale of surplus town equipment through Auctions International.
I'll second it. Town board discussion?
Are the computers going to Auctions International
Mm-hmm.
also?
Yep.
I'll second it. Town board
People
discussion?
here in town that wanted to buy them.
You can't,
Now they go
you
through the
have to put
auction.
them to auction.
Okay.
That's the way you have,
Whatever.
yeah, municipal equipment has to be, go to auction.
Town board discussion?
And did we, what about the radios and light bar?
Ralph actually is bringing the radios back on Monday. He needs to clear out any information that's on them.
And you got the light bar there.
And the light bar, and then we can always put that
We
on.
can do that in 2 weeks.
Mr. Wisman, the highway superintendent, also has something that he would like put on it, but that's gonna be at a later date also. So,
Alright.
you know, we'll just use this site as needed.
Yeah, keep the stuff moving,
Yeah,
get the money.
okay.
Can we check with the fire department whether they'd be interested in that light bar?
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Yeah, it's old.
Okay.
They're all into LEDs now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just need a.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that was 1620. I'll read this one. I offer the following and move for its adoption. Resolution 16-021, authorizing application for Arbor Day Community Grant. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the town supervisor to make application seeking funds for Arbor Day Community Grant, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor and the town clerk are hereby authorized to sign all necessary paperwork in connection with the Arbor Day Community Grant application.
I will second.
that. Okay.
Town board discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Karina, you're up.
Resolution 16-022, authorizing transfer within the dog control budget. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the following budget transfers from the town of Unionville dog control budget. From line A3510, dot 4, which is contracted expenses, in the amount of $500 to line A3510.2, which is equipment line, in the amount of $500 for the purchase of dog control equipment.
I'll second that. Mary G needs some equipment. There was no money in the line for the equipment for dog control officer, so we moved it from her other line and put it in there. So unfortunately, the prior dog control officer lost her equipment when the roof caved in at the Town of Beekman Dog Holding Center, and her equipment was in there. So she was using her own equipment for the past couple of years, and now we have a new dog control officer, and she needs new equipment. Any other town board discussion?
No?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, John.
Okay, resolution 16-023, approve request of Parks and Recreation. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the reduced rates for the Hudson Valley Dock Dogs Club and the Knoxon Road Elementary School 5th grade picnic as recommended by Parks and Recreation Director Mattis.
I'll second that. Town board discussion?
So maybe Rob can clarify. With the dock dogs, is it people or is it people and their dogs? Because the letter talks about how they're teaching people to do this with their dogs.
Yeah, it's people and their dogs. This is the.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely familiar with the sport. I know it's literally dogs running off of a dock into a giant pool of water. They train the dogs to jump and jump the furthest. And so what they're doing is they're looking to hold a meeting for interested people in a workshop down in the park facility. They will not be doing these demonstrations in the facility, but it is a sport for dogs and their owners.
But the dogs will be present at the meeting? That's what
The
I'm
dogs,
asking.
there may be dogs at the meeting, yes. Yeah, in the senior room. We do have, we also have a fly ball program that meets on Fridays in the senior room. And they are very clear that they're not allowed to bring their dogs into the rest of the park down in that area, but in the room that they're renting, it would be permissible in this instance.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we make it very clear they can't bring them out through the rest. Yeah.
And on the school picnic, the
Yes.
5th grade picnic, the request to ask for 20 lifeguards, and that's a day, it says 20 lifeguards at 4 hours.
Oh, yeah, if you look at the lines, she miswrote it. She made, the 20 was dollars.
Oh,
yeah, so-
$20, that's not really,
She-
she didn't mean she wanted 20 lifeguards?
No, 4 lifeguards, $20 an hour for,
She like reversed.
she
Got
moved
it.
each line over one accidentally.
Got it.
Yeah,
I'm like, 20
yeah, no,
lifeguards,
3
wow.
hours. Yeah, they want to be super safe. No,
Yeah,
it's
that's
3
what I
hours, 4 lifeguards for 3 hours at $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Yep, so she moved everything over one line.
Okay.
And we didn't alter it because we didn't want to change her forms, but she got the right price at the very end. It added up
The total
right.
was right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm like, wow, that's like really low budget.
super safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it, thank you.
You bet.
Okay.
Okay, any other town board discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now I would like to make a motion. Robert Taft, the town's assessor, is in need of a real estate property data lister. He interviewed Jim Kane on Tuesday and would like us to make a motion to hire Mr. Kane at $16 an hour. There is $2,000 in the budget for that line. And that would mean he could get $125 an hour.
No, 125
I mean,
hours in a
125
year.
hours in a year. I'm sorry. I make 120, I'm sorry. 125 hours per year. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
I'll second that.
You'll second that. Town board discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Now we can move to public
Wait, I have a
comments.
question. I just want to amend a resolution that we did last time we authorized that Councilman Steve Frazier, Dave McMorris, and Ryan Cortine will be going to upcoming meetings in New York City, but I want to also add Justice Paul Panko, because it came to my attention as I was signing vouchers that he's already been paid for, so that we would add him to that list.
I'll
Yeah, I
second
believe the
that.
money's in the budget for that
Yeah,
as well.
Second that?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public comments and questions. You can,
Yeah.
Get up and talk. The old ladies have something to say.
Wait.
Short for the old ladies.
You
No,
go first.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Jean Moore. I live about halfway between Skyacres Airport and this town hall over on Darren Road. And I have two things I would like to comment about. First of all, I would like to request the board to enact a town resolution prohibiting the flying of drones from, on, or over town boundaries, because I think it is a liability problem, and I guarantee you, if my husband is flying an airplane and crashes because there's a drone flying over town property, the town would be the first entity that I will sue. Okay, so just throw that out there. I think it's an important thing that we have to deal with, and I don't think our liability is such that we want to take that on. So that's the first thing. Second thing, and I know this is going to be kind of a controversial thing, but I think it needs to be brought up. And I'm just wondering, is there any limit to the amount of money that can be spent by the Parks and Recreation Department? And is the town board and the supervisor aware of the fact that each year money spent in the Park and Recreation Department is $250,000 to $350,000 in the red, not the black? It's a loss. Now, as a taxpayer, you know, I voted for the swimming pool, even though when I had to take my kids swimming, I brought them over here. We had the sand pond and so forth. I'd take them home. I'd have to clean them up. So we built a swimming pool, so I didn't have to deal with that. I believe in teaching swimming. I believe in giving kids and families the opportunity to do this. We want to take our kids ice skating, but the park, or the pond half a mile away wasn't always available. We built an ice rink in our backyard. It cost a couple $100, but it was someplace where our kids could be and we could supervise and so forth. I think it's great that we've got an ice rink. What did it cost? Who's paying for it? Am I paying for it? Are you paying for it? I don't know. So the other thing that I would like to propose, and I'll explain why, is that the board appoint an oversight committee of 3 to 5 people to oversee the cost of the Parks and Recreation Department, because it appears that costs of programs, including staff, pool, and equipment, are exceeding the income taken in. And Mr. Mattis is passionate, he's enthusiastic, he's done an excellent job of bringing in new programs and getting people to participate in innovative programs and interesting programs. He offers a great deal. However, I'm not sure he is watching and calculating the cost-benefit aspect of these programs, and I think we are suffering money-wise. I had expected that the park and recreation programs would be planned so that the cost of the programs would be mostly covered by program fees, etc. That does not seem to be the case. And the reason why I say that is because I have spreadsheets that I calculated. 2015, the loss was $326,812. In 2014, the loss was $283,556. In 2013, the loss was $279,270. I don't think I have to continue going through all this to make my point. Why are we losing so much money? And we're having to pay for it. And I don't think it's fair. So I leave it up to the town board to solve. Here's the yearly total for the last 9 years. It's probably a $2.5 to $3.5 million loss total. I think somebody has not been paying close enough attention to what's been going on.
Can I ask where you got your numbers from?
The budgets,
And how did you
would you
determine?
like to look at that?
Oh, I'm well familiar with the budgets.
I
But how did you
determined
determine that these
I
losses are
determined
the
it
numbers
by-
that they are?
I determined that, I made the determination by the amount that was proposed to be spent, and then in the budget, the amount that it said was spent.
Okay, how about the revenue end of it? Did you look
That's
at
what I
that?
did. That's what I
Well,
did.
I don't think you did, because you wouldn't have come up with these numbers.
I did. Let's see. Let's go to 2015. Okay, so the total amount spent for recreation was $308,000 in one category. Parks and playgrounds, $315,519, and the pool, $81,339. The beach or pool fees were equaled $20,000, which means that there was a loss of $61,339, just on pool, lifeguards, and so forth. Yes?
Part of the cost of part of the revenue for the pool is not just with swim tags, it's also with the camping, the kids that come for summer
Oh,
camp.
I understand that completely. I understand that completely. So, in the recreation department where the after-school is and so forth, all right, there was a total of $308,896 in debits. In credits, the income, that's wrong. Let's go to 2014. I don't know how I got that. It must have been very late when I was doing it. But
Bob, do you want a
anyway,
copy of this?
Yeah, I do. Because look at these numbers and
I would love to sit down with the board, with Mr. Mattis, whoever, and discuss this, because I think this is really showing a great loss, and we should not have to be making up that much money. When I did the 2014, the recreation was, the debits were $270,930. What was taken in was $297,650. So there was a profit of $26,720, which did not cover the loss for the swimming pool, lifeguards, etc., of $42,688. Now, I know we're a generous town. We give discounts to firefighters. I don't object to that. We give discounts to schools. We give discounts to other places. Maybe we should be thinking about not giving such a big discount. And the reason why I did this was because I couldn't figure out why we didn't have $72,000 to finance a library. And what have we been doing? We've been in debt with the Parks and Recreation program. Now, I can see maybe a $100,000 debt, you know, in the red. But I can't see $300,000 in the red. So, that's all I have to say. Thank you. And I do have a copy of these, and I don't know why I got 2015. I must have picked up the wrong thing because I have so many papers at home. I didn't have a chance to go through it because I had to pick up a couple of other budgets because online, part of 2013 was missing, and the 2014 budget information wasn't there. So I had to do those at the last minute. Any other questions?
Thank you, Jean.
Like I said, I'll be happy to show all the stuff to you, but I think it's a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean.
Sorry, Ralph.
don't worry about it. It's going to be challenging every now and then. Sure. Numbers I'm interested in.
Hello, I'm Betsy Moss. I live on Clove Road. And just to dovetail a little bit on what she just covered, and I'm thinking back on those library meetings that became rather heated a couple of different times, I wanted to suggest to you that before that library committee gets started, as you're formulating the goals of the committee and the objectives and what the committee's going to do, because at one point, some of us were chatting in here at an earlier meeting, and we thought one of the goals of the library committee would be to prepare a whole package of information to present to the town so that the town could vote on whether or not they were going to use those funds for the library. Because it wasn't, at least I was under the impression it wasn't going to be an arbitrary assignment of money. So if you can make the strong case that number one, it can be afforded, and number two, that every citizen that lives in the town could benefit in one way or another, or they just want to do their civic duty for their neighbor, that's fine. But we need to make that case. Now, based on what she was just saying, I was going to ask you, and this is just to keep friendly, make sure all the neighbors are friendly and everybody's happy, because don't want to go back to the library meeting that I saw on TV when everybody was so upset and yelling, and there's no need for that. But there is a real serious issue about dollars and cents, and we all know that. It's national and it's got to be local. And when I see on this, and I'm new, so I don't know, do you post these a week in advance so that we can study them and then come to the meeting with questions beforehand? Because if you don't, I don't want to put you on the spot. If you don't normally do that, and we come in and see this. Oh, and if you do, that would be great, because when we come in and see this, I immediately have questions. We're authorizing hours and salary for a planning and zoning secretary. So I would immediately want to know what happened to the other secretary, number one. Number two, is this more money or less money? What's the impact on the budget?
It's the same, it's less money, it's the same amount of money, the same person for the ZBA, it's a different person for the planning, so she is getting less money because she is new.
A new hire.
Okay, well, that's great. See, then that's a positive effect on the budget. I don't know what the effect on the person is, but, you know, okay, that's important to know. And the other thing is when the library and the park, now we've got a park probably to discuss, it would be really nice at the beginning of every year if you would have an open forum on the budget. Now, the budget's just been passed and it's in place. So why don't you have an open, anybody can come and have the finance, whoever the top finance person is for the town. Do you know I don't know who that is. Is there a finance? Okay. Could you go through the entire budget with anybody that comes in, let everybody ask questions. What is that for? What is this for? Because if we don't have $72,000 from the library, or if we are going to write that check, where is that coming from? And if we do have a loss over there, or if we can't afford the library, we never talk about things like there are some wonderful fundraisers we could do to bridge gaps in the park and maybe bridge gaps in a library, but we haven't gotten to have those wonderful discussions where we could be really creative and bring money in because we don't know how much we're in the hole or how much we really need. So could we maybe have an open forum and learn where all the dollars and cents go, and so everybody's on the same page, and then come up with some great ideas to maybe bridge some gaps? Would you consider that?
Every budget period, we have workshop sessions that the public is welcome to attend. They're pretty much exactly what you described there.
But if you have workshop, and I'm sure you do, I've never been to one, I'd like to come next time, then how does that happen with the park and rec? How does that happen?
Well, I'm not convinced that those numbers are accurate, because when we sit down and work out the budget, that's not where we came out.
So we have an issue, so maybe we have another discussion if you don't mind, and maybe we should, so
Definitely
we're all on
gonna
the
look
same
into it.
page.
And I will agree, I mean, through the years, I have had concern about the pool. The pool does
They're
not
expensive.
fund itself.
Yeah,
And
they're
I have
expensive.
suggested along the way, you know, steps to get that number closer, and we have gotten it closer. We aren't there yet, we're still working on it. But, and I do agree, you know, I'd like to see these programs to the point where they fund themselves
They fund
by the user
themselves,
fees. But, you know, and it's been a long time coming, and we can't create a sticker shock where people don't want to come to the programs
Right.
anymore because the price has jumped so much. But, you know, it is a direction that over the past, well, since I've been on the board, that we have been taking.
So maybe
And
instead of
I-
those, the
you know,
forum
I think
needs
Rob
to
will
change
come back
maybe.
and tell us that the numbers aren't quite what were quoted here tonight.
That'd be fine, I'm sure that'd be good news, right? If you were wrong, you'd be happy. If you were wrong, you'd be happy. Well,
I think
if you,
at some
maybe,
point,
Yes.
yeah.
we could form a budget advisory committee of the residents.
And then be able to say,
get
every
together
every
and say,
penny, where's
well,
it going, and
yeah,
is this good or bad, and
We can work together and we can.
that'd be great. We could do that, I think that'd be really helpful.
So just a couple
Thank
other
you.
points going forward, the budget is definitely going through revision. Every penny is being looked at. That was definitely a concern when we came into office. In the past, the budget workshops were designed to allow the public in, but not to speak. The budget hearing was held after 2 budget workshops. And then after everything was decided by the town board, then people were allowed to speak at the hearing, but it was already decided. We will be changing that practice in the future. because we definitely see going forward that as residents who wanted to speak at those meetings, I know Patty was asked to not speak, that's frustrating because you're going, investing your time and you're there and you're the resident and then you're not allowed to have a voice. So only after the decision's been made. So all those things are being looked at, so we appreciate your.
Actually, we had a public hearing before we had the approval of the budget.
The public hearing was November 5th. It was my daughter's 18th birthday, which is why.
Regardless,
It's
It was
required by
also
law to have a public hearing. before you pass
After
the
we had
budget.
public hearing that we voted on.
No. The budget workshops were the last 2 Thursdays in October. And then the budget hearing was November 5th.
Right, and the budget was approved after the public hearing.
Right. But those decisions had pretty much been made, nothing changed.
They weren't definite. If we had any significant
Compelling.
input, changes could have been made.
I've lived here 20 years. I have yet to see a decision be
I rarely saw you in
reversed
meetings
after.
still very recently,
They're on TV.
regardless. Can't speak to us if you're watching from home on TV.
We have call-ins.
There you go.
The old people.
Any other public comment?
Yes,
Lizette?
Lizette's got something. She wants to spend money appropriately.
I didn't know whether the 3 new board members were aware that our seniors, the town has money in the budget for the seniors, and we have in the past given them $1,000 in January and $1,000 in July for them to use. And I was a little bit upset that Corinne said last time that isn't what was on my agenda about the number of people in the library. It's very, very important to you guys have all the same things on your agenda. And she said 8 to 12, and I checked with another council person, I checked with Dave, and he said 8 to 12 was not on his agenda. And also, if you do set up a committee, make sure there's an odd number of people if they vote, because theoretically, if you have an even number of people, you can have an impasse. So when a committee is set up, it should be always an odd number of people. And also, when Steve said that you guys should make up a charge for the committee to ask so they know what they're going to do, I mean, they can bring up their own ideas, but you should give them something to work on first. Oh, you said the ZBA secretary was the same?
Yeah.
CBA is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joan is still ZBA secretary?
Yes.
Okay. That's all. I don't think you're going to find anything about the seniors written down. I think it's just past practice. But Mary Lou will say that we have done it for,
Yeah.
it's something I inherited when I got here. So,
Okay, Mary Lou can let me know where to take the money from.
The seniors have a line, there's a line, they have a line in the budget.
Carlos Mina, Manila Road. I'm a 47-year resident of the town. I just want to know how come I haven't heard anything about park security?
We are working on that. I will be meeting with the New York State Troopers. And actually, they just canceled the appointment for next week. I will be meeting with them. We will be discussing that. Steve actually had a plan at the last meeting that he came up with to try and secure the park even more.
I thought that was for safety.
It's safety and security.
Okay.
And we're going to be working with the constables to try and secure it even more.
Now I hear the windows was broke in the boathouse again?
That was ages ago.
Ages ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's been a lot of damage and the guys have to spend a lot of time fixing it. So if you want to save money, you might want to beef up security. And there was a like a little joke about paving the parking lot down at the park. Everybody laughed about it because it's not going to happen. But what about the parking lots around the town hall that are crumbling? Shouldn't they be sealed and down at the park and up at the
Yeah, they should.
recycling center before you have to replace them?
We'll see if our
Okay.
highway department can get on that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Carlos.
you. Anyone else? Rob, go ahead.
First, I really just, I want to address, is Mrs. Moore, right? Is that, okay. First, thank you for bringing this up. I will look at these numbers because I don't know, they're not the same numbers that I've come out with, but it's good to be challenged. So I don't mind it at all. You come up here apologizing that, oh, it might be okay, it might not be okay. It's perfectly fine. This is what we do. So, you know, if there are questions, I would much prefer people to bring them up as opposed to just leaving and being upset about what might be or might not be happening. So, so thank you for this. I know that our recreation programs, they do pay for themselves. Now, with that said, the park itself, the facilities are what account for majority of the loss. And so when our programs themselves, if you look at the recreation budget, the numbers that come in are much higher than what we actually spend. Now we are looking and we are trying to offset both the parks and recreation together by the programs that we've been running, and we've discussed it. And since I arrived in 2007, we've come closer. Every single year, we come closer to that goal, not further away. So I would like to make sure that that's known. One thing that I can't account for, I don't know as far as budget transfers and things like that, but you have to look at the end of the year when budget transfers happen, if there's money left over in the recreation budget or if there's money left over in a park budget and other bills need to be paid, then that money gets transferred from those budgets to wherever it is. So.
I understand, all I can do is go by what was online.
Oh, I know, but I'm telling you, I mean, I literally look at, and I keep track of every single dollar that's spent in the recreation department and the parks department. I have my own spreadsheets and every voucher that we send up to the town hall. I'm very familiar with it because it's important to me. So I want to make sure that it's known that it is important to me that everything that we spend in there, I do know what's going on, and I could pull it up on a computer any day that you wanted to come down. But that's not the point. The point is I just wanted to say that I don't mind, you know, looking at these numbers, and my goal is the same as your goal, is to cost the taxpayers the least amount of money and still provide the best services possible. So I think that we've been able to do that over the last 8.5 years, and we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to continue to try and run more programs and run things like that, because the more programs we're running, we're actually reducing the costs because it's providing more of a benefit to the community, both for recreation purposes, but also we're bringing in more money, which reduces the other side of that spectrum. So we're working on it, and I would gladly look at these numbers and get back to you and see where everything's at. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Your turn.
Okay, still Tillman, still old. Nobody ever said anything about the beautiful Christmas lights that the park staff had here this year. So even though it's February, thank you for the beautiful Christmas lights.
Beautiful Christmas lights, Rob.
A lot of people, shut up, I'm talking now. A lot of people talked about Lizette serving for 15 years. Lizette was supervisor for 16 years. I want to make that clear, 1-6.
Yay, Lizette.
And she was on the board before, and so, 1-6. And I just want to mention some of the golden oldies, looking at the budget for 2015, what year is this, 16? 2015, 1-5. We kind of looked and thought it was about a $300,000 shortfall. Thank you, Jean, for going through that, because you're brave enough to get up and speak. So now let's see what Rob comes up with, because the old folks are going to come after you now. Jean's not that old.
That's why I left my jacket on, so I could get out right away.
Okay, set. Anyone else?
I'm not gonna sit down.
Okay, now we're having a discussion of next meeting agenda items. Is there anything, any of the town board members would like?
All of the tables from this meeting. So
All of the tables from this
The planning
meeting.
board appointments, the zoning
And-
board appointment,
And we really need to speak about the UV, the water
filter system.
filter system
In
in.
the town hall.
For the
Yeah.
town hall. I spoke to Rob about that. He said what our next move is to get RFPs, Larry Podgy. So I don't know if we need to vote on that, or we can just go out for the RFPs.
For the what?
The
Do we
RFPs.
need to vote to go out for RFPs? Or do we just
Request
say
for
we're
proposals,
requesting our?
Larry
You
Podgy,
just
for the
request.
system, the water system in the town hall, the UV system?
I think it has to go out to,
All right, so
What's,
we'll put
what's the
that on the
projected
next.
amount?
Excuse me?
What's the projected amount?
I'm not sure, Larry. has-
That would
well,
determine,
he
you
has-
know, where it would
Yeah.
fall on the procurement policy.
Yeah, well, I figured he was gonna put the RFPs out and get 3 quotes and see what it was before we can even think about doing it.
Well, you wouldn't go to that point. We'd need to have a projected cost to determine whether we can afford it or not. Then you would put it out to RFP if that is required by the procurement policy.
Okay. So I'll contact him this week.
Right, find out, get an idea what he anticipates that job to cost.
Could I just interject?
Mm-hmm.
This is not something you're doing on your own, you're told by the
Right.
But yeah,
required.
we have to do this, so it doesn't
Correct.
really matter how much it costs, but
Well,
what
Well,
Steve
it
has
does.
said.
procurement,
We have to
procurement
do it.
policy matters. Following proper.
We're gonna put it on the next agenda, is what I'm saying. That's why
Yep.
I'm bringing it up.
Yep,
Okay?
yep.
Okay.
All right.
yeah,
Just so I'm clear for the library steering team committee members that have come forward, or people that are interested in being steering team committee, how is it that you want to contact them? I already gave you phone numbers and emails. How do you want to contact them?
Well,
I don't believe this is something we can do as a town board together, because we're not appointing them, we're not hiring them, these are volunteers. So I do not believe that all
well, then
five
how
of
do we
them.
select 12? What if 14 people or 30 people say they want to be on that committee? How do you select the committee?
Well, then we can make a resolution to change what we did last meeting. 2 weeks ago at that meeting, we all said yes to 8
Right,
to
so who-
12 members.
But-
So
With-
are you,
I think if we're going to set a number,
Mm-hmm.
we have to figure out how we're going to select the people. You don't just say,
And that
okay,
should
I'll
be
take you, and I'll
specified
take you, and I'll take you.
in what
right,
I
so that's what I'm
requested.
saying,
I was
how
just
do we
gonna
do
say,
that?
I think what Steve wants is just you to verify exactly.
Put it in writing so
what
everybody
you
knows
intend
exactly
on
what you're
doing.
talking about.
Okay,
And put it in writing.
okay, that's separate, that's something I do. What I'm asking all of you is how do you want to, these are the people that have come forward. If anyone else, please, if you're watching on TV, if anyone else is interested in being in the library steering team, I have not heard from you, so I would need to hear from you, or you would need to call town hall. But how would you want to?
Again, my opinion is.
Go about
I
selecting
think
them.
anyone who wants to take part in this and wants to be on it should be allowed, regardless of how many people there is. How many do you have?
We're gonna have to amend that resolution. then.
Right, that would
Yes.
mean amending the
Well,
resolution.
let's
Okay.
take care of that
One,
at the next
two,
meeting.
not including me, because I'm not a member of the committee, I'm just the liaison. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I think anyone who wants to be on this should be allowed.
Okay, so we,
As many as it is.
We
We will
don't
amend
do
the resolution. No,
okay. So
I
we
think
just amend the resolution.
anyone who wants to
Could I
take part.
make a suggestion?
Sure.
Maybe what you should do is set up a meeting date on TV and invite whoever wants to come to the meeting for the library steering, just show up. and whoever shows up is on the committee.
Right.
I mean, maybe one week you'll have 5 people, maybe the next meeting, you'll have 20 people. Do it that way.
Right, whoever wants to be on it can be on it, and we'll take care of that at the next meeting.
Unless you're going to appoint people, then you want to interview.
Right.
Okay, so what you need from me is sort of an abstract describing the library steering team committee and what the purpose and goals would be. But we would be appointing a chairperson, because that would
Yeah,
have to happen.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's just
And
a
you,
bunch of people with different opinions in a room with no one to, because
And
I
you
am
are
the
the
liaison,
liaison.
The
not.
chairperson, you're going to have to interview.
right. And you are the liaison, so.
So I
We
interview the
will-
chairperson, or
Yeah.
the whole town board interviews the
We
chairperson?
can-
I want to be very
If we're
clear.
appointing, then we
Yeah.
all should interview.
Yeah,
Okay.
we will all interview the chairperson, and we will change this at the next town board meeting. Motion to adjourn?
No, I got one more thing
Oh,
that I want
see,
to bring
that's
up.
one
At the next meeting, I want to do some adjustments to the policy and procedure of the constables. I think there's a way that we can save a little bit of money in the policy and procedure, but I think there are some things, you have to talk to some of the constables, especially some of them with a lot of experience, that there are a few changes that have to be made.
Okay, let me know what they are, Dave, and we'll get to it. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.